date. So, why are some providers ending the day with leftover doses? Well, here's the governor's take.
We're not at it's not a resistance to vaccine issue. It is what you might call a hesitancy or laziness issue. It's people and we know this from research, they will get the vaccine, but it's not immediate in their minds. They're thinking, I'll get it in the future, maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, maybe it's some indefinite date. Well, that time is now. Step up and get it. So it's a matter of convenience, of ease. There's people who still think they have to spend an hour reloading web pages and it's hard to set up appointments. Guess what? It isn't. Easy to set up an appointment, and you don't even need an appointment. You can just show up and get it.
2.5 million Coloradans have gotten at least one shot. Communities of color have lagged behind in receiving the vaccine, an issue the state insists is being addressed.
And infections are surging among children 11 to 17 years old. Now, lucky for us, so is interest in getting a vaccine. Denver7's Gary Brode with that story tonight.
I just want to see my family again. I miss my grandparents.
Whatever the reason,
just hanging out with my friends in public.
Teens are stepping up by sitting down to get their vaccine.
Finally get to remove these things and my glasses stop fogging.
In just the first 2 weeks of April, more than 40,000 16 to 18-year-olds received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine.
They have prom coming up. Some of them have high school graduation. They have family coming from out of town. They know they want to be prepared.
The state's chief medical officer, Dr. Eric France, says we could see the demand for vaccinations among teens briefly decline in the coming weeks while kids focus on events like finals and graduation. But after that, he expects the surge to pick back up and last well into the summer. In the long run, helping with herd immunity.
Really, when you look back at this last year, one of the harder groups to socially separate are young adults. And I would say teenagers are in that group as well.
This mass vaccination clinic in Thornton on the Skyview campus allowed students not only to get the shot, but get it with mom and dad, like in the case of Devin and Stacy Russell.
It was his decision, and I kind of followed in his footsteps. So, because I wasn't going to get it actually, but because he was wanting to, and so.
Dr. France calls these in-school vaccination sites a terrific strategy.
They're happy to walk down the hall and get their vaccine taken care of. So that means someone is getting vaccinated today who otherwise might have been too busy or didn't quite care enough to make the extra effort over the next couple of months.
Seeing just these things starting to slowly open back and come back to normal, it was a big wake-up call for us as teenagers.
In Thornton, Gary Brode, Denver7.
So the kids get it. We're not sure all the adults do. State epidemiologist Dr. Rachel Herlihy said today that Denver, Jefferson, Larimer, and Boulder counties have the lowest case rates among Colorado's largest counties, and they also have the highest rate of vaccinated residents. Pueblo and El Paso, the counties with the lowest vaccination rates, have the highest percentage of cases.
UC Health encourages high-risk patients to undergo antibody infusions. Gary Springs of Lakewood will be the first to echo that sentiment. He and his wife tested positive for COVID back in December. She didn't meet the criteria for the treatment. He did.
I was amazed, totally amazed. Felt much better in 2 days. I had no lingering effects, where she was in the hospital for 8 days. And then when she got home, she still has some lingering effects.
The infusion process takes about an hour. 1,300 people have received the treatment here in Colorado.
We'll make that 6 people suing United over a flight that dumped those engine parts over Broomfield. All 6 claim emotional trauma, not only for the malfunction itself, but for the flight team's alleged failure to provide information or assurance to passengers while in the air.
The Attorney General's office will hire an outside firm to investigate allegations that the state overlooked pollution concerns while issuing permits to coal mines and asphalt plants. The claims were brought forward by a whistleblower last month. The health department will not comment on specifics, but insists it takes clean air standards seriously.
The man accused of killing 4 people and dumping their bodies in the San Luis Valley is now charged with another murder. Audrey Psycho Burrows was arrested in late 2020 after human remains were discovered in rural Conejos County. Burrows has been in custody for 6 months. It's unclear when or where the 5th victim, 31-year-old Karina Arroyo of Monte Vista, was killed.
3 people have been arrested and another identified in a string of burglaries that targeted Asian American business owners. Fort Collins police have been looking for this crew since 2019. Investigators say they were part of an organized crime ring that ransacked 26 Colorado and Wyoming homes of cash and jewelry. 3 of the suspects were tracked to Florida, and the 4th is believed to be in Colombia.
Coming up, a Denver woman cancels her flight because of a death in the family.
I received a few, "Oh, we're sorry for your loss,"
but finds the airline isn't so inclined to give her a refund.
They dug in their heels. It's very frustrating. It felt like I was running up against a wall.
Lots of action out there at the present time. Snow, thunderstorms, fire danger. I'll let you know, expect overnight and when skies will start to clear.